everybody. This is Miss Trina with Chat with Trina, and I am here with two of my favorite people, Miss Ursula and Corelle Chester. How y'all doing?
Pretty good. How
Just
you doing
fine.
today?
What does your shirt say? You know, I love graphic t-shirts.
I'm gonna let my husband read it. I just threw on a t-shirt.
It says it's fine. I'm fine. Everything is fine.
Everything is fine. Yes. Everybody else, I want to thank y'all for joining us today as Chat with Trina celebrates a month of Black love and Black history. I'm excited. I've only had two couples because, of course, with the snow bit last week, I had to change some people around and move them around or whatever. So I've only done two couples, and it was really nice. It's giving me hope.
Yeah.
Giving me some hope.
It's hope out there. It's hope out
Give
there.
me some hope. How long have y'all been married?
18 years.
It's been 18? Okay.
Yeah.
And when and where did y'all meet?
You want to tell her where we met?
We met at the hospital. We knew each other long before we knew one day we would end up being in a relationship. Me and Corelle met at the hospital. We both worked, new out of college. I had just graduated from college. I was a respiratory therapist. He had just graduated from college too, and he was doing X-rays, radiographer, and that's where we met at Methodist.
Oh, okay. Boy, y'all's whole life done been surrounded around healthcare for real. And then I know y'all had your own business for a while, your home healthcare too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely your both of y'all's passion.
Yeah.
That's cool. So both of y'all are from Houston originally?
No, I'm from Detroit, and
really?
we moved here when I was young, so I consider myself a Houstonian. You know, but I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Okay. What school did you graduate? So you used to this cold weather, or not really? Since you've been here long.
We moved to Texas when I was 8, and then I said all the way up through maybe like 10th grade. I would go back to Detroit during the summer, so it was never cold or anything like that. So no, I'm not used to cold weather. I'm very much Houstonified. I was cold just like everybody else.
Everybody else. I was so cold, y'all. My fingers were hurting. That's why I had to say, okay. I tried to thug it out. I was like, no, ma'am, I am a little diva. I got to go somewhere.
I might as well say my parents are both my mom is from a little small town outside of Dallas, and my dad is from a little small town called Henderson up near East Texas, Tyler area. Oh, yeah. So they met in college. They originally moved to Dallas, and by the time I was 4, they moved here. So Houston is all I know.
Okay. How long was it a long courtship?
No.
Actually, we dated, I guess, a good year and a half or something like that before we.
I guess. Okay, what's your definition of a long courtship?
From what I'm finding out, a year is relatively average. So do you date longer than a year? Like, some people last 5 years during before proposal time. So a year was it was about a year.
Yeah, it was over a year. We dated for over a year.
Okay.
I don't think it was over 2. Okay, but let me back up to us meeting. Me dating Corelle was not the same as my past relationships because me and Corelle truly did know each other first.
Okay.
On a friendship level. Like me and Corelle met at the hospital. We probably was in our mid-20s. Like I see him with chit chat. I mean, I never looked at him like that. He was just I'm a respiratory therapist. He a X-ray guy. He come by. We chit chat. How you doing? How everything going with you?
But no thoughts.
Yeah, no, it was no thought. I would have never thought like this man I met like 5 years from now. This man is gonna be my husband.
Yeah.
So by the time we started dating, like you know how most people you got to try to get to know who they were as a person. I already knew who he was as a person, so it was different than what I was used to in previous relationships. That making it seem.
Yeah, it's funny. I had no intentions on dating her. Let me backtrack. So I actually went to the church that her parents go to, not knowing that she was the daughter. Her mom used to say, "You the perfect example of the type of man I like to see my daughter date. I like for you to meet my daughter." I was real into playing paintball every weekend back then, so I was into doing just me. Yeah. Fast forward, she and I started talking. I can even tell the day I even looked at her different. I remember one day, I probably done seen Ursula a gazillion times. She done hugged me a million times. She gave me a hug one day. I felt like a kid in a candy store. And then every time she came around me, I would feel like that. And I thought, maybe I like her. So we would sit back, we would talk. We started doing stuff, going to the movies and stuff. Anybody who know Ursula know that I'm the chatty Cathy of the group, and she's the straight lace, all about business.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I tell her I want to talk to her. I said, I want to come to your house. She said, why you want to come to my house? You remember that day, baby? Why you want to come to my house? I said, do you trust me? She said, yeah. You're a trusted person? She said, yeah. I said, I want to come over. I go to her place. She comes over. She shuts the door. She says, what you want? I told her, you like my right hand, my left hand, my inspiration, and my motivation. Just the thought of you brings a smile to my day. The thought of you brings a smile to my life. And I like for us to be more than just friends, more than just associates. She gave me a hug. And I think that's when we actually started dating, like that day. That's why.
But wait. We got to back up a little bit. When did you find out that she was the person that her parents were talking about in church? Did you know those were her parents?
No. Remember, I had a birthday party. You remember when Carl Lewis used to have the restaurant at Okay, I had my 28th birthday party there and invited, people from work, and my family was there. And remember, you saw my parents, and that's how we ended up discovering that my parents knew him, and I knew him.
Gotcha. And Ursula, is he telling the truth about that story, that romantic statement?
No, he's telling the truth. Anybody know Corelle? No, he's telling the truth.
It's so sweet. So now that was actually one of my questions.
Corelle,
how did you know?
Tell me, because like you said, we have been knowing each other for a long time as friends. So like when we was going like to move different things, I was still looking at like friends just kind of hanging out, like he ain't dating. Yeah.
When did you know Corelle was the one? Was it that night that he knew you were the one, or were you like just gonna give it a try?
Yeah, I said I'm gonna give it a try.
Yeah. And before that moment when he came over, said he wanted to come over to your house, y'all hadn't really been out of anything. So were you really nervous, or you just was curious? Like, come on, I see what you're talking about. What you want? When he wanted to come to your house?
Well, it wasn't that. Like I said, I knew him for years, so it wasn't that I didn't trust him. It wasn't nothing like that at all. It just my personality, like what you want. Yeah. Like
and see me, I'm scary. I don't care if I know. I'll still be like,
I'm scared on just the Ursula Horton back then personality.
Gotcha. And apparently he knew, because that didn't run him, make him scared to say I'm coming. But Corelle, that was so romantic. What attracted you the most about Corelle, Ursula?
What attracted me the most? He's very selfless. I mean, when it comes to me and my boys, he'll do anything for us, for his family. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah. And Corelle, what was the thing that attracted you the most about Ursula?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what I tell my boys all the time. I love the fact that she was strong with herself, for herself, and by herself. I like the fact that she was a strong woman, not a strong Black woman, not a strong white woman, not a strong Spanish woman. She was a strong woman. Her personality is that I'm with you because I love you and I care about you. But if you mess this up, I'm going to be okay without you, and I can get along fine just by myself.
I like that.
She know when to push me. She know when to let me be. She know when to let me be the man. She know when to tell me, hey, sometimes you need somebody to tell you to shut up and backtrack. She know when to push back on me. And that's the thing I love most about her. Anybody who's talked to me know that recently, I was in the hospital. I ended up having to have some surgery. So I was real sick, lost a lot of blood. And when they told me they had to take me to emergency surgery, I told the doctor, I said, hey, do me a favor, if something happens, when they tell you that your wife is going to come to the hospital, You think something, you kind of think you ain't gonna make it, definitely during COVID when they're not letting people come to the hospital.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, if something happens to me and I don't make it, promise me that you'll tell my wife and my children that her husband and their father was unafraid. This day comes to everybody. I lay back, I close my eyes, and I always tell her and the boys that the thing that I love about it, if something ever happens to me, because somebody got to get sick first. You don't like to talk about somebody got to get sick first. Somebody got to go first. I pray that I never see the day that something happens to anybody in my family. But I know if something happens to me, I know that she got it. I know that she got it. I heard her tell the boys one day, she told them, if your daddy never ever tells me that he loves me again in life, I'd be okay with it because his actions say it every single day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's good. Communication. Do y'all have a pretty good, from what it sounds like you guys have a pretty good communication.
18 years we know how to, well, let me clarify. Corelle over communicates and Ursula under communicates. So that's where the issue comes in. But we've been married long enough that we know each other. And like I give you, for example, say like if we get into an argument, or well, fortunately, me and my husband, he may like, oh, they just making it up. But no, really, we not the arguing type. But just say something happened where we frustrated or mad at each other. I'm the type of person when I'm frustrated and I'm upset, I don't want to talk to you. And it's because I don't want to hurt you, because I might say something
and you can't take it back.
Yeah, I can't take it back. And see, Corelle has control over his emotions. So he's the opposite. Yeah. When something's going on, he want to talk about it at that very moment.
Yeah.
He want to have a conversation. So sometimes that's why arguments may have come about, because I want to be left alone. He didn't want to leave me alone. He was being polite about it, but yeah, I don't care. I told you I didn't want to talk, so now I'm talking crazy. If you would,
it's so funny you say that, Ursula. We talked about that not too long on one of the other interviews, because I had to learn that. That's a skill that I want to nip stuff in the bud. So it's a skill that I don't have to say, well, I gotta wait because this other person may not be ready to have this conversation yet. So Corelle, that's a skill. Have you just always been that way?
Well, I think well, I always tell my kids this, and Ursula and I was talking about this earlier because I was talking to my boys about something. I always tell them, don't fall in love with your emotions. And by that, I mean that you can get caught up in your emotions, and your emotions will make you do something that you really don't want to do. And there could be a severe consequence. So it can be you getting in a fight. It can be, you with the wrong group of kids and peer pressure get you to go do something that you don't want to do. It can be that you don't understand the university that your mate grew up in, so you say something that's real hurtful. Once it comes out, you can't take it back. So what I had to do in our relationship was, I guess I put it to you like this. My mother one day, the first time I caught myself complaining to her, I said, Mama, I do this, and that. And I ain't, I'll tell you, I do everything. You know how we feel. And so my mother asked me this. She said, do you communicate with Ursula in a format to where she understands the meaning of what you're trying to say? So I went back to what I was saying. She said again, are you communicating in a format to where she understands the meaning of what you're trying to say, or are you just talking? Second, don't come talk to me about what's going on with her, because you my son. So y'all work it out. Now I'm thinking something ain't right, and I'm thinking a certain way, but you have to understand the university that she grew up in. It's like this: people get divorced behind toothpaste and toilet paper. You want to squeeze the toothpaste middle? I say that you roll it from the bottom. You want to pull the toilet paper forward? I say you roll it from the back. You want a joint account? Oh, hell no. This is not going to work. I think that we spend a lot of time sitting and conversating and talking, and I really understand the universe she grew up in. I used to sit back and ask her questions every day. She would ask me questions, every day about stuff. And by what I mean by understanding the universe that you grew up in, it's kind of like, let's say you grew up like Ward Cleveland. You think one way about relationships. Let's say you grew up with just your mom or just your dad, or you saw your dad beating your mom, or you saw your dad cheating on your mom, or you saw your mom being verbally abusive to your dad all the time. All that shapes what you think about relationships. Absolutely. So you have to understand where your spouse came from. And I believe that you do simply because you want to do, not because you expect something in return. Right. You do it because this is what you want to do. And then if you don't get anything in return, well, no big deal, because you wasn't expecting anything in return. But at the end of the day, and Ursula can tell you, I tell her this all the time, her and them boys are my summer, my winter, and my spring. They are everything to me. And so at the same token, she's always doing for me too. But I had to understand her personality and how she went about communicating. You know, I'm one of them lovey-dovey type of people. Now I want you to hold my hand and tell me you love me all the time. I'm one of them type of people. But she's always been a straight to the point type of person, you know. So you really have to understand, hey, what university my wife grew up in. And then when you're growing over 18 years, you have to grow together. I tell people all the time, one of the things I think that really, 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 really make our relationship work is that, one, we have the same things in common. But two, she has things that she likes to do by herself. I got things I like to do by myself. It's things that she do with just the kids. It's things that I do with just the kids. It's things that we do as a family all together.
You hear us okay, Trina?
I'm listening. Yeah.
Okay.
It's things that we do as a family all together. And it's things that she and I go do together, just us. When it come down to issues, you have to understand and learn your kids in a relationship as well. Like my boys, they mama's boys. They want to talk to mama about any problem. They don't want to talk to me. If it's sports, daddy cool. But if it's a problem, if it's a relationship or something, they want to talk to their mama. I'm okay with that.
Wow.
Because I know mama gonna tell them right. I know grandma gonna tell them right. I know auntie gonna tell them right. But I appreciate the fact that my son actually told me that. I asked him, hey, how's stuff going with your Dad? You know I don't like to talk to you about stuff like that. I like to talk to mom about that.
Interesting.
But know that that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, if it's something serious, she gonna let me know. You know, so now when issues come up and I see that he ruffled, I say, hey, baby, go talk to Jacoby. Something's bothering. Because I know he's going to open up to her differently from the way he's going to open up to me.
What you just said made me think about that dynamic of boys and their moms. When you probably would think automatically they're going to talk to their dad about a relationship. You know what I mean? I would have never thought they would talk to mom. Interesting. So Ursula, with Corelle having the personality that he has, how do you maneuver that? You just had to, you know, was that a challenge that you had to learn to?
Yeah. You just adjust. I mean, and one thing I want to mention when you talk about communication, people, you know, in order to be successful in a relationship, you also got to take accountability for your own actions or whatever. So the communication, when I'm talking about our communication ain't always the best, I'm not talking from a standpoint where I feel like he's doing anything wrong. It's more taking accountability for myself and who I am as a, what I'm saying about me under communicating, that's just not with Corelle. That's just in general. Me, just anybody in general, when I'm upset with somebody, I'm not good at, if I'm upset with you, Trina, I'm not good at like saying, well, let me call Trina. We need to have a conversation about this and talk about this. I'm more to shut the you be like, okay, what I did to Ursula, and I noticed all them stuff she not picking up the phone.
Yeah.
So me, when I said it, it's more just, it has nothing to do with him. It's just more that that's my personality, who I am. No, it's not right, but it's something I'm just still working on.
that you work on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when
Well,
you
fortunately, Corelle realized that about me now. So, well, that might have been a problem in the first few years of our marriage. I mean, it's not now. He knows now if I don't want to talk about it at that moment.
he lets
Wait,
you move.
and
Yeah.
we'll readdress it tomorrow when we both have calmed down. Yeah.
Well, you know, not just marriage, just being in a relationship. If you're in a serious relationship with somebody, that's work. At the end of the day, you got to be there. So, you know, I'm gonna do things she don't like. She may do something that I don't like. We may miscommunicate on something. The whole goal is why is that you grow together. People grow because they don't grow together. And what I love, what our kids see about us, we sit like not too long ago, she was talking about she wanted to dance. And so we had the kids move all the furniture in the living room, and we was in the living room dancing. And they were just sitting back just laughing like, man, y'all still be doing the same stuff that, as long as we can remember, y'all still be doing the same stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just a big part of the relationship. And a lot of times people, they don't take the time to really look at themselves and see what they need to do different. Sometimes it took her really going, Corelle, you not listening. That's your problem. You're not listening. But on the same token, she would also tell me, you the most disciplined man I've ever met. I've never met anyone as disciplined as you are. You so set in the way you do stuff, your mannerisms, your character. I don't believe in getting high to all out of character and stuff like that. It's just, hey, let's sit, let's talk about it. But I also had to learn that, you know, that this isn't how she is. And that's the same for with my kids. If I'm sitting back, like the youngest, he gonna sit and listen. The oldest, if I'm going too much, boom, I can see the switch go off, you know? And so I had to learn that, hey, you know what? You can really even push your mate or even push your kid in a certain way to where you ended up breaking them because you so set on the way you want to do stuff.
Yeah.
You have to learn to meet people where they're at.
Trina, I mean, I personally don't feel like relationships and marriages all that, you know, because I agree with you. I hear that a lot of people make it seem like it's so hard. But one thing I will say about marriage, I mean, like I went into my marriage knowing I was marrying a wonderful guy that was going to take excellent care of me. I knew that. And so I went in and get married thinking everything, because I knew who Corelle was, everything was going to be perfect and wonderful. And it wasn't just some stuff we talking about, like different communication skills.
Yeah.
But I don't think marriage or relationships are necessarily hard. I just feel like, just like we prepare for anything else in the world, whether our careers, even going to get a driver's ed, it's the same with marriage. Me and Corelle, we went to a class. It was like 5 years into our marriage. It was this one popular class that, do you remember the name of that class? It was this marriage class that a lot of people were going to. And
it was something like
I can't even think of a name, but it was an awesome class. But we took it 5 years, but I wish that was a class we would have took before we got married. And so I think a lot of it is that people so focused on that big day, the wedding, focus on don't get me wrong, we want the most beautiful,
of course,
but people are not really thinking ahead of being successful in their marriage. They just think, to me, I just feel like I see a lot of people get married more focusing on that wedding day, but not focusing on
and now the what is it, the engagement thing, they make that's like huge and stuff.
But I think if you prepare yourself and try to start understanding how marriage works beforehand, it can
absolutely.
These days in relationships, people put so many stipulations on things. They're like, well, he got to make this much money. He got to look like this. He got to have a 26-inch waistline. He got to have a six-figure job. He got to have a mama to have a six-figure job. Everybody got all these stipulations on what they got to have, and then they don't even bring the same thing to the table. I think you just have to sit back and communicate. It's kind of like, well, what if I work in a warehouse? I'm cool with that, but I love the hell out of you, and all that I do, all of what you see, in a prime example of that, we were at the barbershop the other day, and the boys, we were all getting our haircut, and one of the barbers, they were talking about school and classes, and he was saying that he graduated with honors and that he finished in the top 10% of his class. And then a guy that was in there said, and you just a barber? He said it just like that. And the barber was like, why are you disrespecting me like that? The man didn't see that as something disrespectful. And everybody was like, yeah, that's disrespectful. He said, well, man, usually people who finish in honors in the top of their class, they don't end up being barbers. And the barber said, you sell cookies, man. You sell cookies for a living. He said, no, I work for Nabisco. He said, so you hustling cookies. But
Exactly.
the point was, I love cutting hair. So I'm doing what I want to do. I'm my own business owner, you know.
Yes.
So don't knock my hustle because I'm doing something that I love. You're not doing anything any better than me, you know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the guy, he didn't see it that way in the
At
way
first.
that it was took, but relationships kind of work the same way. You got to take time to understand the university that your mate came up. And it's like when you sit back and you go to things, I'll tell you something. This is something I remember we went to that class. The guy, he did an exercise and he was saying that, you know, you have people there that been married for years and they just come every 4 or 5 years. You had people that were about to get married. He was like, we got people that's about to get divorced. We got some people that got the divorce papers in the car and this is their last hurrah. But one of the exercises he did, he said, you can have all the men on one side of the room. He put all the women on the other side of the room. There's maybe 300 or 400 people there. He said, I'm God, and here's the scenario. All the women, you've lost your mom. All the men, you've lost your father. I'm going to grant you one thing to say to them. Yell it out. And you heard a lot of, I love you, I care about you, I miss you, I didn't need you, F you, screw you, get out my life, I never wanted you here. And then his point was, okay, now you men, you women, do you understand why the man you with thinks like this about his father? Do you understand, men, why the woman you are with thinks like this about her mother? Understand how she came up and how he came up and what they went through. And that gives you a better understanding how to interact with them. He says agape love is go full in and expect nothing in return. You know, I think, it was called familylife.com. That's what it was, familylife.com. And I think that was the best thing we ever did was go to that. It just made me think different. It made me look at stuff different. It made me start communicating to her different. Not that we never had any arguments after that, but like when we argue, like our kids come to it, was like, we don't yell, we don't fuss. It's just a conversation. You know, it's just a conversation.
Even though you may know people, I think it's important to really make sure you do know people. Like I said, you know, you heard me say, oh, well, me and Corelle, we knew each other 5 years before this, that, and the other. Yeah. But in our marriage, I realized beginning that we knew each other, but then we did know each other. And one thing I laughed about, I like the fact that you posted the language of love quiz. Okay, so
the 4 or 5 love languages.
So mine's that I don't think my husband for years didn't realize I was laughing. Mine said was acts of service. And so reason I'm telling you this is because I know when we first got married, like my husband, he would buy me, when we first got married, he used to buy me very nice, expensive gifts. That's not my thing. And so his feelings would be hurt, like if he go spend a lot of money on something, and I'm like, oh, okay. But on my mind, I think he could read me like,
we was getting Coach purses for her and her mama. Hey, I was like, hey, girl.
My mama loved you, didn't she?
Yeah, and so I mean, my mom had to tell him that, like, but he didn't pick that up about me. Like, I think he felt like, because a lot of women out here, they do like
that's what they like.
That's what they like. Ursula Chester. That's not what I want.
Right. So that's because I used to tell my ex, it means more for me. You go get a greeting card because you wouldn't pick that greeting card out. And it had certain words that spoke to me because words mean so much to me, you know?
Yeah.
More than something that costs a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's how I am. Like, I'm not into, like, I don't like anybody else because I know, like I said.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But that's my, like, even Valentine's Day. sometimes we do something for Valentine's Day, sometimes we don't. My husband has done so much and has sacrificed in 18 years. He don't have to ever again in his life do anything on Valentine's Day. He done done more than enough. Like, it's not necessary for him. I mean, that's great and nice if he want to do it, but he don't have to stress himself out. I mean, plus my birthday the end of January, so he's probably already did something nice for me for my birthday. So, I mean, it's not necessary for him to go running out and trying to plan something
do all this
for Valentine's Day. Yeah, he's not gonna lose no brownie points over that.
Was there actual getting down on one knee by either one of y'all when y'all got married, or was it more just talking about we're gonna get married?
One of y'all, excuse me.
I have to say that now because apparently women are getting on one knee now.
No, I'm old school. No, I don't believe. I'm talking about Ursula Chester. Ursula. I don't believe proposing no man. I don't believe paying for no date. I don't believe in going Dutch. If you can't pay for the date, we ain't going.
One of my young friends brought it up to me not too long ago. She's like, Miss Trina, well, what you think about if I ask a man to date? I said, well, it ain't my thing, boo, but I mean.
I know, the new millennium, they do that, but I'm from a different time. We did have a wedding. Let me tell you that story. So ever since I was a little girl, I always dreamed of having this big, huge wedding and all these bridesmaids and these little flower girls and this big, beautiful venue, everything. And the thousands of dollars I was going to spend on it, saying I had the most magnificent wedding. And when Corelle, and I was so happy because when that time came, he proposed me, he was on the bandwagon of wanting the same thing that I wanted. And then people life started stressing me out. And one day I woke up and I said, I told Corelle, I said, I feel like I'm doing this more for my family than for myself, and it's coming out of our pocket. I said, you know what? I think I just want to go to the Bahamas and get married. So one day I just changed my mind. I just like, I don't want to be bothered with all this. This is becoming a headache. It ain't worth it. And we changed our mind and we ended up getting married in the Bahamas.
That's so. And then the picture that I posted, that's a renewal of the vows.
No, that was our actual wedding day in the Bahamas.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we got married in the Bahamas.
I wish I'd have had the nerve to change my mind like that too, because that's actually what happens. It just becomes. I started out with like, I think 10 bridesmaids. Yeah. By the time we finished, I had 4. Get out. Y'all stressing me out. Come on.
Yeah. So that's what happened. I just woke up one day and I was like, I want to have a destination wedding, and it was beautiful.
When my prince come, I'm gonna have a destination wedding this time. So several years ago, if you guys don't mind me bringing this up, but several years ago, I was in your presence because we met through the dance community that you guys had a very unfortunate health scare with Corelle. Mind just briefly walking us through your thought process of that time? I know you're the one who walked in and found him, right?
Yeah.
He had a heart attack.
Time go by fast. That's already going on 10 years ago because that was right before his birthday. Yes,
it was 2 weeks before I turned 40.
Wow, it does not seem like that was that long ago.
Yeah, it's been exactly. That's going on March.
April the 12th.
April the 12th. So yeah, in 2 more months that'll be 10 years ago. So came home and he was just laid out on the floor and he was sweating and feeling short of breath and feeling short of breath, and I'm trying to remember, your chest was hurting, and I just called 911 and they came out. At first I didn't really take it seriously because they hooked them up to the EKG machine, and they was like, oh no, his EKG looked okay or whatever. Because sometimes people do have anxiety that'll make them feel like they having a heart attack. So that's what I really thought. I was like, okay, well maybe he just having an anxiety attack. But they said that but we're gonna still go ahead and take him in anyway. But when he got to the hospital and they ran all the tests, he had a heart attack.
And how old were you, Corelle?
I was still 39. It was
2 weeks before his 40th birthday.
Yeah,
right. Okay, I remember. Because you were going to have a birthday party that year, right?
Well, she ended up throwing me a birthday party after I got out the hospital. I couldn't, they just told me I couldn't dance and then, so she had like a table for me. With
because at first I had been planning that party for months because he never had a party before. And so I wanted to surprise him. He never had a birthday party in his entire life. And so I want to surprise him and have him a big birthday party. It was that place off Hillcroft. I think it's closed now, Hillcroft and Maine. So I had been planning that for months, having a surprise party. And then I didn't even know if I was going to be able to move forward with the party. And then he seemed like he was okay. I talked to the doctor and they said as long as he does a dance. So I moved forward with the party. Corelle was hard-headed. He was there. They did the birthday dance. Corelle was dancing with all these people. I still remember this day. Mr. Lee was mad. He was like, "They're gonna make her have another heart attack." Like I literally had to stop. It's like, Corelle, come on now. You just had a heart attack. People told you don't overexert yourself. He had a long line of women just still, and everybody knew he just had a heart attack, and people still in line. People just still trying to dance. It's like, come on now.
I remember Iris was like, "Why you gonna dance with me?"
Yeah, like we probably had to just go like cut them out, cut people out. But I still remember Mr. Lee was so mad. He was like, "Why is he dancing like that? Why?"
Because you know, Mr. Lee, when he means something, he mean it, and he cares so much.
Yeah, he was upset like that for real. And I had to finally go up there and like, okay, y'all enough.
Yeah, because he wasn't gonna stop.
No, he wasn't.
So for both of y'all, after that scare, you guys had, I mean, I know it's been so long ago, y'all said some really beautiful things. But I just wanted, I know, Corelle, you made health changes to your life at the time. How did your marriage change after that? Did it get stronger? Was there any difference? And I'm asking both of y'all that. Was there any difference after that scare?
I think we've always had a strong relationship. Like it's kind of like how your parents, you come up and your parents do things and they almost make you hate them, or you're a kid and you think that you hate them, but you grow up and you just like them. So like my grandmother passed away right before we got married, and Ursula said, my father, my sister, one of my brothers, all of them went to Detroit for a funeral. My oldest brother said, "Well, I'm gonna come with you because I don't want you getting married by yourself." But Ursula was like, "We could postpone all this. We don't need to get married." I said, my grandmother told me when she met you. She said, "That woman loves you. I can see it and feel it in the way she talk about you. She's gonna be your wife." So she wouldn't want me to not get married. My mother told me one day, my father called, my mom's name is Gertrude. My dad calls her Gertie. And he was like, "Break it down to him, Gertie." And she pokes me in my side and she says, "Son, your rib cage is in the middle of your body. When God created Adam and Eve, she said, Adam came from dust and Eve came from a rib." She poked me in my side again. She said, "My point is that your rib cage is in the middle of your body. It protects the inner essence of your kidneys, your liver, your spleen. My point is, son, your rib cage will crack and falter before it allows something to happen to the inner essence of you. And that's what you got."
Wow.
If you truly love someone, she said, if you truly love someone in life, you got to love them enough to be willing to let them go if you have to. But that young lady is rich. I think about stuff like that because, my parents were married 59 years, so you don't even see that these days. People get divorced behind one joint bank accounts and stuff like that. The way I was raised was that you don't question a woman about what she doing, where she at, who she talking to. If you got to do all that, you need to trade her in for a future draft choice. I've never questioned her about anything. Even she has ever even questioned about a past relationship or anything like that. You know what? I don't give a damn. I'm the one that you with. As long as you loving me, I don't care about who you knew or anything like that before.
Trina, he lying.
No, that is true.
I'm gonna tell you one situation. When my oldest son, when he was a baby, I had him in the mommy and me swim classes. So I would, have to pack our bag and pack my little swimsuit and all that type of stuff. And I leave my office and go pick him up from daycare. And I got to get into my swimsuit and get in the pool with my son so he can learn how to swim. He's about 1 or 2 years old. And so a lot of times, it's summertime, a lot of times I may just put on some shorts or something and don't totally change. I'm headed to the house. So one day I left my bag in the car that still had my clothes in it. And I remember he was like, "Why you got a bag? You don't remember that?" I remember. And he was like, "What you doing? Why you got to have a whole separate bag of clothes in your car?" I was like, They're my work clothes from when I took when I changed, took my clothes off when I took Jacoby to his swim lesson. So he ain't told to tell you the truth.
It just don't happen that often.
But no, it was that one time. But no, but I'm being funny. We did have that one.
Yeah,
incident.
I know.
Kind of like, why you got the whole set of clothes in your car? But other than that, no, we don't have those type of issues.
I've always heard don't go to bed angry. But from what I've heard from you guys, y'all know when it is a time you need to go to bed angry.
Well, I don't even look at it as going to bed angry. I just look at it as, okay, I like to talk about stuff right now. I understand she don't want to talk about something now. So it don't mean that I still don't push sometimes, but she's like, hey, I don't want to talk about this right now. They don't mean that she's mad at me. It's just mean that you want to make sure that you're in the right mindset. And you want to make sure that you meet each other where each other's at.
Conversation.
Before you start talking about something, not even that I'm worried about saying something that I'm going to regret or anything. It's just really, it's kind of like a sign of respect for each other, you know?
Yeah. You feel the same way,
I
Ursula?
agree with Trina. Like, to me, I don't look at it going to bed as, I might feel some type of way. My big thing is, I don't want to talk about it right now. That's my personality. And we don't talk about it tomorrow when I'm ready to talk about it.
Gotcha.
So, I don't really look at it as me going to bed.
You're not going to bed angry. You just,
I'm not
pausing it, pinning it.
I'm not, you know how some people, I'm not like grabbing my pillow. You get away from
that. Put that line in between us both.
It's just more like, it's more of a situation. Let's say this for tomorrow.
So I had in-law issues. That's probably the demise, and I have no problem in saying it was the demise pretty much of my marriage. Do you guys have that? Did y'all ever have any in-law issues? I don't think from Corelle's side, because you were the Eve already. So
well,
did y'all ever have any of that?
I would say this. I think there's always issues and problems. Like I say, I got a brother right now, she'll look and she'll say, I can't stand your brother. If something ever happens to you, you better not.
Trina, he don't have to get on the line and say that.
You better not call me.
He done busted you.
You know, but at the same token, you know, every family have problems and have issues that comes from, you know, her seeing me like stand true by him. You talking with money, everything, and then stuff get constantly thrown back in my face. It's just all religious stuff with them. Like, you know, their religion, they don't associate with certain people, and they hold it dear. Like, because you don't go to church where I go, I mean, no, we can't associate, like, literally. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I guess my point is, like, I got two brothers, sisters, my parents, my mom and dad, my aunties, my cousins, my other brother, my sister. They call Ursula all the time. Talk to her all the time. My nieces, they talk to her all the time. Her family, to give you an idea how our families intermingle, she got a lot of family live close to my parents, and hell, they check on my parents almost just as much more than I do. Hey, Corelle, call you.
Wow, I like that.
We ain't heard from you in 2 days. I mean, so our families are like really, 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 really close.
Family,
holidays and birthdays and stuff. It's like we're really all together.
My mother and father-in-law are amazing. I love them to death. They've always been, from the time before me and Corelle got married, they've always been supported. But the great thing about them is they've been married for
so they believe in that.
Yeah, so even at that time, me and Corelle getting married, they're already getting ready to go on 40 years of being married. So they've been to where us younger generation been. So they can give advice. They never have taken sides. If something me and Corelle I don't know how to say it, like something we're not getting along about and having an issue with, they're the type of in-laws, they're gonna more provide us their thoughts and solutions on how to get around it. But it's not never a situation where they're
not
taking
any tug of war.
Yeah, no, it's never a situation where that's our son, we on his side. They don't think like that. I have two brother-in-laws, and Corelle already put it out there. One of my brother-in-laws I love to death. And one of my brothers-in-law, I don't like what Corelle said. I wouldn't go as far as say I don't like him. Me and him, and I want to clarify that because you're talking about for us relationships. The one brother that Corelle is talking about, he's never been disrespectful, done anything wrong to me. My issues and concerns with him is the way he has treated his brother. That's why I have problems. That's why I don't. Yeah, it's not.
And he's the one that has the religion that.
Yeah. So my
my
problems with him is more so how I feel like how he's treated Corelle and how I feel like he can feel about my boys. But it's nothing he's done wrong or mistreated me. So but overall, compared to stuff that I hear other people talking about, we don't have in-law issues, you know. Yeah, we don't have in-law issues.
So dancing, whose idea was it?
Mine.
Where did you see it at to make you want to do it?
One year, my mom, them, the church they was going to, they had like for Valentine's Day, they had like a sweetheart dance. And I remember the pastor and the first lady, they was up there and they was just swinging. I don't know what they was doing. Whatever. Back when I didn't know what dance it was or that. At that time, I didn't even know we had all these different dances. Yeah. And they was up there dancing or whatever. And I was like, oh, I want to learn how to do that. And I just kept trying to find classes, and it was this one, I can't remember. They used to be out for Richmond. You remember, Trina, there used to be this booklet where you could take all type of classes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about because I took a class through them too.
Yeah, so I took like a Chicago step and 4-week class, and it was like we went to that, and it was like, because I never heard nothing about the dance community. And so that was about the closest I could get to finding that type of dance. And then one day, I think I was at a health fair over there at Emancipation Park, and somebody was passing out Lee and Fancy flyers. And I was like, oh, you teach too? I think I might have been talking to Fancy, and I was like, oh, I've been wanting to learn how to do this, and I'm going to come to your class.
And I know what she did.
Yeah, that's exactly what she did. And Corelle at first, he was not excited about it. He was just, because one thing about him, that's one thing, another amazing thing about my husband, anything I want to do, Corelle is gonna go along with, even if he doesn't want to do it. He will go along. Like I said, he's selfless. He'll go along with anything I want to do. So he wasn't big on the idea of dancing. But fortunately, once we got over that Lee and Fancy class and we started meeting people, we both like. He actually started enjoying it more than me.
Walter and David Ransom's class. I was like, ooh, they smooth. And we went to some function and I saw Jay dance. And I said, ooh, I need to learn how to move like that. I need to put some work in.
Well, we have that in common. My first two-step teacher was Fancy and Lee. Not my swing out, but two-step. I think they were a lot of people's first. So who were some of your other dance instructors? I know Jay.
Yeah, I started with Lee and Fancy, then I went to Jay. Even while I was going to Jay, I would occasionally go to Henry classes because he was over here in Missouri City. And because I'm not really into I like to socialize, but I didn't always I'm not into like always going to dance events or whatever. So that's one thing I liked even by going to Henry class. It gave me the opportunity to dance with other people. I went to, and then for a swing out, I went to Liddell for a little while. Bino taught me. I went to Bino for a little while. Then I started with David. Not before the pandemic. I was trying to get started to Chicago. But Corelle, Corelle, he just pretty much tries to stick to
two-step.
Yeah.
We did the showcase for you. And we did some stuff for some graduations.
We did 2 shows. We did the showcase for you. So you want
to dance extravaganza. That's right. Yay.
Yeah, that was my 40th birthday. That's been 10 years ago. That was my that was my 40th birthday. Because Corelle turned 40. That was my 40th birthday. Then we did a showcase for one of Flow Motion graduation. We just did 2 showcases.
Yeah, then I did a couple with other people and stuff.
He did a couple of other people, and but we don't do too much because we don't do well with behind the scenes. We don't do well like folks that come to practicing.
I want to get fun too.
Yeah.
This is something I do for fun, man. I spend my $10 on class. I feel have fun. I ain't trying to do all
Trina,
that.
if you see us argue, if you see one day you walk up on me and Corelle argue, it might be over a dance move. You
A dance move?
Yeah, I remember one time maybe it was Flow Motion graduation a few years back. And I remember one time my little one, he came downstairs and he was all sad. And me, Corelle's like, what's wrong? He's like, I really wish I would stop dancing. And we was like, why you want us to stop dancing? Because he's like, I'm scared y'all gonna get a divorce. He said, I'm scared y'all gonna get a divorce. Because it seemed like every time y'all practice dancing, y'all start fussing and getting a big argument.
That's so sweet. I mean, so sad, but so sweet at the same time.
Yeah. And we were laughing like, yeah, we are, but it's not that serious.
Right. I know you have two sons. You mentioned them. And one is 11th grade.
Yes.
And how old is the baby?
14.
14. He's in 8th grade.
Mm-hmm. 8th grade.
8th grade.
8th grade. Okay.
He just turned 14 at the end of November.
So when my kids were young, I did my first 2 cruises and a few other things by myself because one of us had to stay home with the babies. And I understand Ursula just mentioned this recently. Y'all did the same thing with dance. How did y'all come up with who would go first and who was, how did y'all come up with that idea that I want to go dance, but we can't go together all the time?
Really, a lot of stuff we got a lot of family that's real close to us. So usually theirs with family, or it was just maybe something that I would go help set up and stuff for the dance classes and for the events and stuff like that. Sometimes she would go to stuff by herself. That's never been an issue, even with traveling and stuff. Our kids, they be just more than we do nowadays. They travel by themselves. So
first kind of started they were really young kids.
Yeah, that's really what
I mean. We was going to Lynn Fence class. My youngest, he 14 now. He was like 3 years old, and the oldest was like 7. But back then, it's like either my mom. Me and Corelle we've never been into going during the week. Everything we went to was like weekends. So it's either if my mom didn't, my mom would watch them. If my mom didn't watch them, like it used to be like a daycare. People like we knew some people that ran a 24-hour daycare. That we would take them to for a few hours that they used to love to go to and play with toys. Trips, like weekend trips. I have a younger sister. Like a lot of times, like we going to think that's like a weekend trip. She would come over and
and keep them.
But like right now, until they get like, we haven't been on any. I think we went to Jamaica. I think Corelle parents watched them then.
Yeah.
But probably they've been older. We really don't try to go beyond weekend trips. I think the last trip, like long trip, we went because we got married, had a destination wedding. That used to be our thing to try to go on a trip every year. And Corelle parents would always watch the kids because they were retired. So they would always watch them when they were young when we went on trip. But now they're older and they have health issues. And just now until they graduate, we just kind of then put long term. Like we may go somewhere like on the weekend, like a Baton Rouge or Dallas, but anything beyond a weekend trip. Yeah.
They get to take the good weekend trips now.
Yeah.
So my next quick question, which you already answered, y'all do try to make sure that y'all do some date nights together without the children.
Oh, definitely.
And do you think that's important?
We just went with it last night.
Yeah, because they were in Phoenix, Arizona for football this weekend. So we had our date night Saturday. It was our first time in a year going to the movies.
Y'all went to the movies. How was that?
Oh, it was wonderful. I've always wanted to go to the iPic on West Time. That's supposed to be like an upscale movie theater. Have you heard of it before? I don't know if you heard of it, but it's really nice. But I want to experience the iPic. It's over there by the Rich Coast and River Oaks. But we went to see Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh, and the Messiah.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was a good movie.
Well, when I ask you how was it, what I'm asking was as far as them taking the precautions and the CDC suggestions and the safety.
Yeah, they took our temperature when we came in. But it's not like your typical.
It's like
Theater.
it's
The
only
seat,
two seats, and it's like sitting in a
like
cabana.
to me it's like a coupled up type of like they have
Oh,
like okay at the bottom they have like 2 or 3 like the regular cinema type rows, but you can tell they got those closed off I guess because of the pandemic. But
Right.
the 2 car, what they call they deluxe seating, that's how they allow. It's kind of set up like a little like Corelle said, a little cabana, like 2 seats. It's more like couple type of seating.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't even see the people that's next to you.
Yeah, like the people on the next it's like a wall that's
Almost like how
they.
they have those couches that be like separate.
Yeah,
Almost.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna have to get that name from you again.
I feel like I'm old
Yeah.
school, ready to go off to college next year. He got a lot of scholarship offers. I don't want to give away.
Yeah, I see that.
Because he hasn't done his big announcement yet. But you know, I told him our preference would be for you to be close, but it's your life. You don't want to get beat.
So me, it's hard for me. Like I said, my son, he's a junior this year, so we got 1 year and a half left. His senior year. Fall of 2022 is when he'll be gone, and so I'm happy for him, but then I'm not happy.
Yes.
Because, like Corelle said, we know where he's going. He's gonna be making his big announcement, but I will say it's not in the state of Texas, so I'm not happy. I'm happy for him, but
as a mom, it's just
I can't jump. I'm not gonna be able to just jump in the car to go see him.
Yeah.
So, but I do think ahead for some planning. Like, it's still probably gonna be hard because we still don't have the 14-year-old. But I've already got my mind made up. Me and put all these trips on hold because of us having kids. But I already got my mind made up. Once we got both of them out the house, we'll be doing all kind of traveling.
Well, y'all being dancers, how do you feel about Corelle dancing with others? Are y'all pretty good with that? Pretty comfortable?
I'm very comfortable with that. I know in the day, Corelle had to step away and get him some tissue. I'm very comfortable. I know, there's the dance etiquette that, you need to go ask the wife before you dance with the husband. With me, I don't care. It's some women that's been knowing me forever. They still come up and be like, oh, it's okay. No, I'm like, girl, don't ask me that. We've been knowing each other. Like you, Trina. I'll be like, no, it's like Trina, don't come up and ask me, can you dance with Corelle after the decade?
Right.
I'm confident in my marriage relationships. Me and Corelle, I can speak for him. I'll let him speak for himself, but I can already say he's the same with me. We don't get caught up into neither one of us feel like the opposite sex has to come up to us and ask to dance with our spouse. And I don't trip about that anyway, because you'll be surprised that as long as we've been in the dance community, it's people still don't know we're married. So I can't expect everybody, it's so
and there's so many newbies too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was gonna lead up to. Like, I've been in school for the past few years, so I have not been regularly going to second Saturday. So a lot of these newcomers don't know me, even with promotion, but they know Corelle very well. CFJ set up, people still going to class. So I don't expect them. Some of people don't know who I am. They just know Corelle has a wife. So I'm not tripping about anybody. Or just back in the days when I told you I was going to different people's class, I was going like me. I was going to different class. Corelle was at home watching the boys during the week. So it was people that knew me from like hearing class, whatever, that may not necessarily know him. So again, like everybody didn't know that we were married. So
right.
But it's just not that serious. I know some people it is, but for us, it's just not necessary. We don't feel the need to be. You don't have to come to me dancing to dance with my husband.
Right.
And because I'm gonna be honest with you, if I don't want you to dance with my husband, you're not gonna be dancing with my husband because I already told him. If you roll your eyes at me, it don't matter. You have to come talk to me anyway, because if you can't speak for me, you roll your eyes at me. I've already told Corelle that this person here, they act ugly towards me when I sit there dancing. So therefore, when they come up on the dance, I better not catch you dancing with them.
And I see that's communication.
Yeah.
That's real communication. And I
Because
agree.
I
I
think
agree
that's
that.
disrespectful. Like, how you gonna be rude
Yeah.
to somebody, but then you want to dance with their husband? I think that's just very disrespectful. So
Real. She answered for you, but she said you could answer for yourself. How do you feel about her dancing with others? You don't have that issue either.
No, I don't have problems with stuff like that at all. I mean, you know, it means you go out to dance, you go out to have fun. And then, you know, a lot of people in the dance community, you know, you've been seeing them for so long. It's kind of like how sometimes people say, well, why don't you walk across the floor and ask me to dance? Well, I'm sitting with all these women that I've been seeing for 10 years that don't got nobody to dance with. I don't need to leave the table. I'm not here to find a date or nothing. I'm just here to dance. Don't matter who I dance with, as long as I'm dancing, you know?
Yeah. It's a social function that sometimes gets taken too seriously in that way. I like to do it for fun for myself. But sometimes I get into my feelings. I'm like, now look here, I'm gonna need to dance, and all these people coupled up, and you can't, because now the newbies are kind of weird about dancing with their mates, and that's been a little hurdle for me, because it's like, well, I don't want to get in no trouble, so I kind of like going. That's the thing about second Saturdays, because the older people that's been in it for a while, they're usually at second Saturdays. You can go and not worry about
exactly.
you know, that
I
kind of
see
issue.
a lot of newbies that only dance with each other. I see that a lot too.
Yeah. So that's
like, hey,
uncomfortable. I remember going to second Saturday and somebody asked, I was sitting at the table with some people I ain't really know, but y'all know me, I talk to everybody. And they looked at me and said, so do you dance? Do you do this dance? I was like, I built this dance. I'm just joking. But I was like, yeah, I do. Actually, that's when I first came back into the dance community about a year or two ago. It was so weird. But I was like, who are all these people? Do you dance at home? I think you said y'all do dance at home. You did it recently.
Yeah, she posted a video of us dancing at home not too long ago.
Oh, for real?
That wasn't recently. He talking about when Iris with art of chemistry. That's
y'all did. Y'all were one of the video people.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we did.
It was a long time before I realized they was doing it, so I didn't get to see them, most of them, until it was almost over. Y'all did it at home?
Yeah, we did it at home, but we don't dance much, but I would like to dance.
Yeah. I know Corelle got the vaccine, and I know Ursula's still planning to wait a while. Is that still your stance, Ursula?
Yeah, that's still my stance. Yeah.
And Corelle, how are you feeling? You got both doses?
Yeah, I feel just fine. I got them like the second day after the hospital got them. I mean, I feel just, you know, my take on it is that, you know, you get a flu shot every year, you get Tdap, all that. You don't know what's in any of that stuff, but we take it. You know, with my health background, I told Ursula I need all the help to stay healthy.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I didn't even think about that part when you were able to get yours quickly. But during the health field, and you have
but me and Corelle both, but just because because healthcare workers were the first ones, so that it was offered too. I'm not opposed to the vaccine. I just want to make sure it's not any long-term
effects.
Long-term effects from it. But I mean, I anticipate on getting in the future. I just don't want to do it right now. And I feel like me being a healthcare, as much as I still had to go out, I probably already had COVID and was not asymptomatic.
I went and got both shots. I climbed up on the roof about 20 feet, jumped off the house about 4 times. Each time I hit the ground. I don't got a third toe. My superpowers have not kicked in. I think it's okay to take it.
I'm waiting.
You still gonna wait?
Yeah, I'm waiting. Yeah, I want
that
everybody.
Is so funny.
I want everybody else to get it first, and then I get mine. When I see ain't nobody falling dead, then
how they say you gonna let them walk through that door first, then you'll walk through.
You know, I ain't gonna lie, I be paranoid. You know, like when a medication come out, then a year later, them lawyers popped up on TV, and they be like, "If you've been taking this medication, you know."
Yeah.
So that's what I've been some kind of worried about. Like, is it something like a year from now, and then they're gonna find out this was a cancer causing vaccine? Yeah. So I need a little bit more time.
I get that.
But I know but I still promote everybody else getting it.
Y'all need to get it, so y'all don't give it to me. I'm gonna be. I told them, I said I'll be a part of the 70% that need to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can be okay. During the quarantine, what have y'all kind of been doing besides working? Because you guys are healthcare professionals, and I want to say that I didn't say that earlier, but thank you guys for all your work and dedication to healthcare. But have y'all had any reflection? Like, is there anything that that y'all thought about during the quarantine? A lot of people said they come up with they've been able to spend more time with their family or something like that. Was there anything that was an epiphany for y'all?
For me, not really, because of the fact we were like, we
Yeah.
wasn't like everybody. It's because of the fact that we were healthcare workers. Me and Corelle was still getting up every week. Yeah, going to work is normal. So like, to me, I just don't really have a whole lot to say about it, because it's just our situation. We still continue. I mean, we were blessed. We continued to work as normal. We still had jobs. I mean, we haven't been impacted.
Our daily routine, our routine never changed.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because we were in healthcare field, our routine didn't change. Other than
what about the stress of dealing with the whole medical field during this time? Was that stressful? Did it add any more stress than what you guys normally have in the healthcare?
To me, it didn't. I mean, well, I mean, it depends on where you're working. Like, yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Ursula works with heart, lung, liver transplant patients. They all real sick. You got a lot of those patients that start out and don't make it. You know, I'm right in the ER, so you got traumas coming in, gunshot victims coming in. It's, you know, at the end of the day, you have to be able to maintain your composure. One thing that patients expect you to do all times, regardless of what's going on, they always expect you to do what's in their best interest, regardless of what you got going on in your life. They count. You know, so you got to make sure that you give each and every last one of them quality care. Sometimes you come home. Actually, it's kind of rare that we come home and go, well, hey, you know what? This happened at work today. I saw this at work today. We both been doing this so long. We got to be really something unique for us to come home and talk about. But work kind of stays at work.
Yeah.
We come home, we take our showers, and it's
become parents and wife and husband.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, you know, you have different attitudes. Everybody got their different perspective. You know, I know some people, nurses, people I work with, they don't want to take care of patients that have COVID. I'm the opposite. I'm a nurse. I know what I signed up for. And it did become a point that back in the summer, because at first, because I take care of transplant patients, they did not want us transplant nurses, because those transplant patients are immunocompromised because of the drugs they have to take. So they didn't want us taking care of COVID patient. But then it got to the point that the COVID numbers got so high that that I had to be, me and my coworkers had to be floated to that floor. I mean, I wasn't bothered by it. I mean, put on all my equipment and do what I signed up to do. So
we take care of a lot of COVID patients every day. If you do what you're supposed to do, so that you can stay safe. You know, you treat everybody like you can get something from.
I probably only had one scary moment. I didn't have a problem. It didn't bother me to take care of people that was sick with. I feel more sorry I feel more bad for the patients, because people don't really, you know, that is so sad to be isolated. You know, nobody in the hospital can have visitors, but it's even worse for them. Nobody except for the nurse come. I mean, it's even what a lot of people don't know, like ICU, you know, they'll show the doctors and nurses, everybody on the front line. But in the ICU, them doctors are on the regular floors, them doctors don't go in there seeing them. They'll call us and like, how, you know, they don't want to expose their family. They'll call us. So, you know, they looking through the computer at the vital signs and what we're putting in, but they calling us, asking us, well, how the patient, are they short of breath? They don't want to expose themselves. So it really was more like the nurses and the nursing assistants
doing most of the work.
Respiratory therapy, like actually going in, exposing ourselves. But I mean, I didn't get caught up myself. I'm more like I said, I feel bad for the patients, because they definitely ill, sick. You know, then your family member can't even come up there and be. So that's what I'm gonna feel bad for. Like, I didn't get caught up of thinking myself, and I never felt frightened to take care of anybody with COVID. Like I said, I was more feeling sad for the patients, you know, to be suffering with this disease, and then you have to suffer along. Even with us as nurses, like, we had to be like regular patients when we in and out the room, like, you know, really try to limit, you know, how many times you're, you know, going into the room. I probably only had one situation where it like kind of scared for me. I had one lady, she wanted to take a shower and she was doing fine and breathing fine. And I got her she walked to the shower, And soon she got in there, she got short of breath, couldn't breathe, was about to pass out. And then I had to grab her. And then I went in panic because even I had a mask and all my stuff on, she's coughing and doing all this stuff. So I don't know, one time, she's a close proximity to me.
Right.
But that's kind of like the only time I feel like kind of like paranoid.
Yeah.
Because we had to get so close and she, got
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
wow. So we are going to play a quick game before I ask you the last question. I think y'all have seen it. I don't know if y'all have seen it or not. You don't have to turn. So TikTok has this cute little game, and I picked it up. We won't do a TikTok video. It's just my own thing. And so what you do is when I ask you the question, you point to the person that did it, that does it. Like I may say, who initiated the first kiss? And you point to that person.
Okay.
Okay, you point to yourself too.
Yeah.
What'd he say?
He wanted to make sure I understand. He said, so that means he might point to himself. I'll tell him, yeah.
Okay, so who apologizes after the first argument? Okay. Who's the funny one?
I'm the funny.
No.
Who's more romantic? I knew that. Who's more patient? Who's the better cook? Do you cook it all, Corelle?
Yeah, I cook.
You cook? Okay.
Yeah, I cook. I don't cook a little bit. I cook a lot.
Oh, you cook?
Yeah, I could cook.
Okay.
Let her finish the game. We'll talk about your cooking in a second.
Who said I love you first? Who takes longer to get dressed when y'all going somewhere? I'm waiting on somebody to point to a man. Ain't nobody point to a guy yet. Who's grumpier in the morning? Who's more stubborn? I love this one. Who's the bigger baby when they're sick?
For me,
yeah. Oh, you definitely are. He talking about he probably is. He definitely is.
He definitely is.
He can't never tell you about time I was baby that he had to take care of me. Name a time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, see what I'm talking about?
She didn't have to outright take care of me.
I'm the baby in any time. I'm always the baby on that one. Who's the social butterfly?
Oh, definitely him.
Really? I would have thought it was both equal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you pointed at me. No, he's definitely the socialist butterfly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the messy one? And when I say messy, I mean, I don't know, me, when I get ready to go somewhere, I throw clothes everywhere. So who would be the person? Okay.
Yeah.
And who spends the most money?
Ooh, that's a hard one. We both
Are y'all pretty good with money?
Yeah, that's a kind of hard one for us because we both you know what?
Okay.
I'm gonna put it on me. I'm gonna put it on me because I probably buy more clothes, but at least they on sale. So I'm gonna say I spend the most money. Yeah.
Who is the better driver?
Oh, Corelle, definitely.
And who's the stricter parent?
Oh, that's a good one. I think
we have our moments. That's a hard one for us.
I think she's more strict than I am.
Yeah,
probably more strict.
She's more strict than I am.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say me because he only gets strict when he's mad at him. Where I'm just kind of across the board, try to keep up on a daily basis of what they're doing. He not always consistent. So we'll say me.
This is the last question. Who calls or texts the most?
The over communicator that I told you about at the beginning of this chat.
So do y'all prefer texts or calls?
We usually text because we both in the hospital.
Oh, that's right. All the time. I have to remember that.
Even our kids are texting. Like if the kids call me, I'm gonna answer the phone because I'm thinking something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
Because they know that I'm at work. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny when you think about being a parent, how your sleep patterns change. And let me let y'all know, when they're 30, it ain't gonna change. I was telling my daughter, my tire, I had a flat in the middle of the night, and I was thinking, now who can I call? Because my kids don't answer the phone. They say you don't supposed to call them before a certain time and after. So I'm like, who gonna answer the phone? So anyway, I had a conversation with them and said, guys, you've got to answer your phone. But I don't hear my phone. I said, oh, that's right. Y'all aren't parents. Parents learn to. You're gonna wake up to hear something that happens. So anyway, that's something that definitely changes.
Yeah, I done had some a couple times I call my boys and I go to voicemail. I'm like, I know he did just send me the voicemail.
Lastly, I want you guys to just think a second and give a brief tip or advice to a couple that's thinking of getting married, of what a tip to help them into their marriage. Like somebody told me, whatever you start doing, you got to do it forever. Like if you start cooking today, that means you have to cook forever. Don't get that tip because that's crazy. But I'm just throwing it out there. But a tip or advice to a new couple starting out their marriage journey.
I'll let you go first.
Well, to me, I think the most important thing is that it's really just communication. It's truly understanding how the person that you're gonna marry, how they grew up, how they came up, so you learn how to communicate with them and effectively really listening to each other. When people say that you got to continue to do things that you started doing, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it's more important that you grow together. I think that's why she and I have such a great relationship, is that we grow together through these different sections, through these different stages in life. And we're very open to each other's ideas. We sit back and listen to each other. But more importantly, our kids see how we interact with each other. So it paints a blueprint to them on what a good relationship is supposed to look like. We don't spare them nothing. We talk to them about the good, the bad, the ugly. And then I think that it's real important that something we did early in our relationship was that, I realized that sometimes she wanted to talk to somebody that's not me. And she realized that sometimes I want to talk to somebody that's not her about, hey, how do I deal with this? So one of the things we did, we sat and we spoke, and she was like, well, who is it okay with you that I talk to? Because I would like to talk to this person, this person. Okay, who is it okay with you that I talk to? If I want to talk to somebody about something. And then so both of us got the okay on that person. So if I need to talk to somebody I don't think I can talk to you about, I need advice. They're gonna go and say, hey man, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm trying to work through. Hey, what you think about this? And so that's all part of communicating, so that you don't have problems, so you don't have issues. I think that people get married, need to realize that married people do what married people do, and single people do what single people do. If you're married and all your girlfriends are single, either you're gonna have an influence on them, or they're gonna have an influence on you. That just that there's
communication and respect.
And keep people out your business. Keep people out your business.
And just like I said earlier, just holding your side. I think a lot of times people in relationships, they some folks on trying to point out what the other person don't do, what they did or didn't do. Like, what about you? Focus on yourself. And so, like, even with me, like, I can tell you, I focus on, I may not tell Corelle, but I focus on myself, and I know things that I need to improve on. So I think that's just the thing, holding yourself accountable. On the relationship, and just know how to communicate. It's just not about you. Want to communicate your side of it, but also actively listening to your spouse or your partner and trying to understand where they're coming from.
Well, everybody, I want y'all to thank the Chesters for coming on tonight, guys. Thank you for sharing your tips and your love story. We really appreciate it. You guys, you actually had some things I hadn't heard before. I'm telling y'all gonna have me. I'm gonna have me a relationship soon. Y'all watch. Y'all gonna be like, oh, Trina getting married. So give me 5 years. Give me 5 years. But everybody, thank y'all so much for watching Chat with Trina. Make sure you go to youtube.com/Chat with Trina. Subscribe and then hit the little bell so you can be updated when I upload a new video. Bye, y'all. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you again, Corelle and Ursula Chester, for your service in healthcare and also for joining me tonight on Chat with Trina. Guys, remember to go to youtube.com/chatwithtrina, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video.